Have you ever found yourself staring at your phone, frustrated because the woman you thought was interested has suddenly gone cold? Or maybe you're the guy who does everything right. You listen to her, you show her respect, you give her space, but still, she pulls away, leaving you confused and heartbroken. It feels unfair, right? Like no matter what you do, something just isn't clicking. Here's the harsh truth. Everything you've been taught about dating and attracting women is fundamentally flawed. Most men are stuck in a cycle of frustration because they're following a script that doesn't work. It's not about being nice, it's not about giving her space, and it's definitely not about trying to impress her by being someone you're not. Women don't respond to logic and predictable patterns the way you think they do. They respond to emotion, and until you understand how to trigger the right emotions, you'll always feel like you're chasing something just out of reach. What if I told you there's a better way? In this video, I'm going to break down the hidden truths about attraction, the ones women won't tell you but respond to instinctively. Stay with me, because the first point alone could completely change your approach and finally put you in control of your dating life. Section 1. The reliable man. Why consistency makes you stand out. Let's start with something deceptively simple but incredibly powerful: reliability. At first glance you might think, isn't that obvious? Just show up when you say you will. But it goes way deeper than that. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you were truly reliable? Not just in your actions, but in your words, your energy, and your presence. Here's the problem most guys face: inconsistency. In today's fast-paced digital world, women are bombarded with options. Their DMs are overflowing with men who offer attention one day, disappear the next, only to reappear with some half-hearted excuse. Most guys don't realize they're communicating unreliability, not just by breaking promises, but by the way they show up emotionally. Let's bring it closer to home. How many times have you told a woman, "I'll call you later," only to let hours or even days slip by? Or maybe you've committed to plans but canceled last minute because something came up. Women notice this, and even if they don't call you out on it directly, trust me, it leaves a lasting impression. One flake here, one missed call there, and suddenly, you're just another guy she doesn't trust. Why does reliability matter so much? Think about it. Women are naturally more guarded in dating because, historically, they've had to protect themselves from emotional and sometimes physical harm. They've been ghosted, lied to, and disappointed more times than they can count. By the time they meet you, they're already primed to assume you'll do the same. When you can consistently show up, not just physically but emotionally, you become a man who breaks through that wall of mistrust. You become the man who does what he says and says what he means. This is incredibly rare, especially in today's world of fleeting connections. But reliability isn't just about being on time or following through on plans. It's about being emotionally consistent. If you're hot and cold, if one day you're into her and the next day you're distant, she'll quickly lose interest. Women want to feel safe, and that safety comes from knowing that you're steady, dependable, and not swayed by every little challenge that comes your way. In a world where most men are unpredictable, unreliable, and flaky, the reliable man stands out as a beacon of stability. He becomes the safe harbor in a sea of chaos. Women are drawn to this because it communicates trustworthiness on a deeper psychological level. And here's the kicker. This isn't just about attracting women. It's about becoming the kind of man everyone respects. Friends, family, colleagues. When you become someone who can be counted on, your value in all aspects of life skyrockets. So how do you build this reliability? It starts with small promises. Tell yourself you'll wake up at 6 a.m. tomorrow, and do it. Promise yourself you'll hit the gym 3 times this week, and follow through. When you start keeping promises to yourself, you'll naturally extend that discipline into your relationships. And when a woman sees that you're the man who says what he'll do and does it without fail, she'll trust you. And trust is the foundation of attraction. This leads us into the next key trait, because reliability without confidence is only half the equation. Section 2. Quiet confidence. The unshakable inner strength women crave. We hear it all the time. Confidence is attractive. But what does that really mean? Most guys think confidence is about swaggering into a room, talking loudly, or being the life of the party. That's surface-level bravado, and women can see right through it. Real confidence is much quieter, much deeper, and infinitely more magnetic. I want you to think about the last time you felt uncertain in dating. Maybe you were talking to a woman you really liked, but something inside of you felt off. You found yourself trying too hard, overthinking your words, or worrying about what she thought of you. That's not confidence. That's insecurity dressed up as bravado, and women can sense it immediately. Quiet confidence is different. It's the unshakable belief that you're enough, just as you are. It's knowing that you don't need to prove yourself to anyone, not her, not your friends, not even to yourself. This kind of confidence doesn't rely on external validation. It comes from within, from a place of deep self-assurance that is rare in today's world. Women are drawn to this kind of confidence because it signals security. Think about it. Women, just like men, have their own insecurities. They worry about how they're perceived, whether they measure up, and if they're good enough. When a woman meets a man who's comfortable in his own skin, who doesn't need her approval to feel good about himself, it's like a breath of fresh air. But here's the secret. True confidence comes from doing hard things and pushing through discomfort. It's not something you can fake, and women can tell if you're just putting on a show. The guy who is genuinely confident doesn't chase validation from women because he's already validated himself through his actions. He's faced challenges, set goals, and achieved them. He's built his self-worth brick by brick. Confidence isn't about never feeling fear or insecurity. It's about moving forward anyway, even when those feelings are present. It's the guy who approaches a woman despite his nerves because he knows his value isn't defined by her reaction. It's the man who pursues his goals relentlessly, even when the path is uncertain, because he believes in his own ability to figure things out. When you embody this kind of confidence, rejection doesn't faze you, and that's exactly why women find it so attractive. They know that you're emotionally grounded. You won't crumble at the first sign of difficulty, and you certainly won't depend on her to feel good about yourself. The key to building this confidence? Take risks. Put yourself in uncomfortable situations and prove to yourself that you can handle them. Confidence grows from action, not from sitting around waiting to feel ready. Every time you step out of your comfort zone, whether it's approaching a woman, asking for a promotion, or trying something new, you're building that inner foundation. Remember, confidence isn't about perfection. It's about being comfortable in your imperfections. And when women see a man who owns his flaws without apologizing for them, they can't help but be drawn to him. Now that you understand the power of quiet confidence, let's move into how ambition plays into this dynamic and why it's another critical piece of the attraction puzzle. Section 3. Ambition. Why women are drawn to men with purpose. Imagine this scenario. You're on a date with a woman you've really clicked with. The conversation is flowing, and everything seems to be going great. But when she asks you what your goals are, what your passions are, you hesitate. You find yourself scrambling to sound interesting, but deep down, you know you're just coasting through life. You're working a decent job, hanging out with friends, but nothing really drives you. Nothing lights that fire inside you. And here's the kicker. She senses it too. Ambition is one of the most powerful traits a man can have, but not for the reasons you might think. It's not about having a fancy title or making a ton of money. Ambition is about having a clear sense of purpose, a direction you're moving in, and the drive to continually push yourself forward. When you have that, it doesn't just change how you feel about yourself. It changes the way women see you too. Here's why. Women are naturally attracted to men who are going somewhere in life. It's not about your current status, but your trajectory. It's the fact that you're constantly striving for more, that you refuse to settle for mediocrity. This signals to her that you're not just someone who drifts through life, but someone who is intentional and focused. And that makes her feel like she's a part of something bigger if she's with you. Let's dig into this deeper. Think about your own life. Have you ever had a time where you felt stuck, like you were just going through the motions? Maybe you had a job that didn't excite you, or a routine that felt monotonous. During those periods, didn't you feel less confident, less driven, and less attractive even to yourself? Now compare that to the times when you've been on fire about something, whether it's a new career path, a fitness goal, or a side project you're passionate about. When you have something you're working toward, you carry yourself differently. You wake up with purpose, and that energy is contagious. Here's what most men get wrong about ambition. They think it's all talk. They believe that just saying they have big dreams or ambitions is enough. But women can see through empty promises. Ambition isn't about saying you want to achieve something. It's about actively working toward it every day. It's about showing her, through your actions, that you're serious about growth and progression. Women don't want to hear about your dreams. They want to see you chasing them. This doesn't mean you need to be a billionaire or an entrepreneur to be attractive. It means you need to have goals, both short-term and long-term, that push you out of your comfort zone. And it's not about the size of your goals, but the fact that you're consistently working towards something. Whether it's getting in better shape, starting a side hustle, or leveling up in your career, the key is to demonstrate that you're not content with coasting. Why is ambition so attractive to women? It's because ambition signals security. A man who is driven by purpose is someone who's less likely to stagnate or let life pass him by. He's always working on the next challenge, and that signals a kind of emotional and psychological strength that's incredibly magnetic. Women want to be with a man who makes them feel like they're part of an exciting journey, someone who is going places. But here's where a lot of guys stumble. They get too caught up in the hustle and forget about the other aspects of their life. They think ambition is all about grinding 24/7, but true ambition is about balance. You don't need to be obsessed with work to be ambitious. In fact, it's about setting goals in all areas of your life. Your health, your relationships, your personal growth. Women are drawn to men who can juggle multiple passions without losing sight of what's important. And here's the best part. When you're ambitious, you're not chasing women. They're drawn to you. Why? Because ambition naturally creates scarcity. When you're focused on your goals, you're not constantly available. You're not hanging on her every word, waiting for validation. You have your own life, your own mission, and that's what makes her want to be part of it. She feels that you're not looking for someone to complete you, but rather for someone to share in your journey. So, how do you cultivate ambition? It starts with clarity. What do you want out of life? Sit down and get specific about your goals, both short-term and long-term. Write them down and take concrete steps every day toward achieving them. Ambition isn't about massive, overwhelming projects. It's about consistent progress. Even small wins will build momentum and show both you and the women you meet that you're a man on a mission. This brings us perfectly to the next key. Emotional control. Because all the ambition in the world won't matter if you can't keep your emotions in check when life throws you a curveball. Section 4. Emotional control. How mastering your emotions sets you apart. Let me paint you a picture. You're on a date and everything seems to be going well. Then, out of nowhere, she says something that triggers you. Maybe it's a comment about your job, your appearance, or even a past relationship. You feel your face flush, your heart starts pounding, and before you know it, you've snapped back or withdrawn into yourself. What just happened? You let your emotions take control, and in that moment, you lost your cool. Here's something most men don't realize. Emotional control is one of the most underrated and powerful traits you can possess. It's also one of the rarest. In today's world where emotional reactions are the norm, from heated social media arguments to personal dramas, the man who can stay calm under pressure is a standout. And women notice this more than you might think. Why is emotional control so crucial? Let's break it down. Women are naturally more in tune with emotions, both their own and the people around them. When they're with a man who can't control his emotions, they pick up on it immediately. It sends a signal that you're not in control of yourself, and that's a huge red flag. Women want to feel safe and secure with the man they're dating, and if you can't manage your own emotions, how can she trust you to handle life's challenges or even her own emotional storms? Think about it like this. Life is full of stressors: work, family, money, relationships. If you react emotionally to every bump in the road, you're not showing strength, you're showing weakness. And in the dating world, this can be a deal breaker. Women are naturally attracted to men who can stay level-headed, especially when things get tough. The man who can keep his cool, who doesn't let frustration, anger, or anxiety get the best of him, is the man who stands out. But here's the deeper layer. Emotional control is about more than just staying calm on the surface. It's about understanding your emotions and not letting them dictate your actions. Most men react out of habit without thinking. Something triggers them, and they either lash out or shut down. But the man who can take a step back, recognize the emotion, and choose how to respond, that man is in control of his life. And that's incredibly attractive. Women test men all the time. Sometimes consciously, sometimes not. They might push your buttons to see how you react. They're not doing this to be malicious. They're doing it to see if you're emotionally stable. Can you handle pressure? Can you stay calm when things don't go your way? The man who can pass these tests by staying centered and composed becomes a rock in her life. Someone she can rely on when everything else feels uncertain. Here's where emotional control really shines. It's not about suppressing your feelings. It's about understanding them, managing them, and choosing how to express them. For example, if she says something that upsets you, instead of blowing up or shutting down, you calmly address it. You explain how you feel without losing your temper or getting defensive. This shows emotional maturity and strength. And here's the key takeaway. When you're in control of your emotions, you're in control of your life. You're not swayed by every external circumstance, and that makes you a force to be reckoned with. Women are drawn to men who can handle their emotions, not because it makes you seem perfect, but because it makes you seem reliable. When she sees that you can handle your own emotional ups and downs, she'll trust that you can handle hers too. So how do you develop this emotional control? It starts with self-awareness. The next time you feel triggered or upset, take a step back and ask yourself why. What's really behind that emotion? Is it fear, insecurity, frustration? Once you identify the root cause, you can start working on it. Emotional control is a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets. And this leads us into the next section, the power of mystery. Because once you have emotional control, creating mystery becomes a natural extension of your confidence and self-mastery. Section 5, the power of mystery. Why a bit of unpredictability keeps her hooked. Let me ask you this. Have you ever met a woman who seemed interested in you at first, but over time the spark faded? Maybe you shared a little too much too soon. Or you were always available, always responding to her texts within seconds. At some point, you realized that the excitement, the thrill, had vanished. The more predictable you became, the less interested she seemed. Why does that happen? The answer lies in something most men overlook: mystery. Here's a truth that goes against most dating advice. Women are drawn to men who keep them guessing. It's not about being manipulative or playing games. It's about maintaining a sense of unpredictability and intrigue. Mystery is one of the most powerful tools you can use to create attraction. And yet, so many men make the mistake of laying everything on the table from day one. Think about it. What happens when you watch a movie where you can predict every twist and turn? You lose interest. The same thing happens in relationships. Women don't want to be able to figure you out completely right away. They want to feel that there's more to discover, more layers to peel back. That sense of intrigue keeps them hooked. Why does mystery work so well? It taps into a woman's natural curiosity. When she can't quite put her finger on everything about you, it creates an emotional pull that makes her want to learn more. It's the sense of not knowing exactly what's going to happen next that keeps her coming back, trying to solve the puzzle that is you. But let's get specific. How do you cultivate this mystery without being dishonest or distant? It's not about playing hard to get, but about pacing how much of yourself you reveal. Don't be an open book right away. Keep some things to yourself. Let her wonder where you are, what you're thinking, and what makes you tick. Here's where a lot of men go wrong. They think creating mystery means being emotionally unavailable or aloof. That's not what we're talking about. Mystery doesn't mean ignoring her or playing games with her emotions. It means revealing yourself slowly over time. Let her see different sides of you, but don't give away the whole story in the first few chapters. For example, you don't need to share your entire life story on the first date. Let her ask questions. Let her feel like she's uncovering new things about you every time you interact. This doesn't mean you should withhold important information or be dishonest. Be open, but not fully transparent. Save some stories, experiences, and opinions for later, when she's more invested. Here's another aspect of mystery that most men overlook: emotional control. Women are deeply attracted to men who are in control of their emotions. And when you don't wear your heart on your sleeve at all times, you create a natural sense of mystery. If she can't predict how you're going to react to every situation, she'll find herself drawn to you because you're unpredictable in a good way. You become a challenge, someone she can't quite pin down. And that's exciting. Think about it from her perspective. Women are used to men who are overly eager, constantly trying to impress, and available at the drop of a hat. When you don't follow that pattern, when you keep her guessing just enough, you automatically set yourself apart from the crowd. And this doesn't just apply to your availability. It applies to how you share your thoughts, your feelings, and your plans. Let her chase you a little. Not in a manipulative way, but by giving her something to pursue emotionally. Don't always be the one texting first. Don't always be the one to plan every date. Create space for her to step up and invest in the relationship as well. When she feels like she's uncovering something new and exciting about you, that's when you'll see the spark reignite. But here's the most important part. Mystery must be genuine. It can't be manufactured or forced. It comes from being comfortable in your own skin and not feeling the need to reveal everything all at once. When you have a rich, full life with passions and interests outside of her, mystery comes naturally. You're not always available because you're busy with your own life, and that in itself creates intrigue. Which leads us perfectly into the next section. Scarcity creates value. Because once you master the art of mystery, you'll also start to understand how valuable your attention becomes when it's not always given freely. Section 6. Scarcity creates value. How withholding attention increases your worth. Let's face it, in today's world, women are constantly bombarded with attention. Social media, dating apps, even random guys on the street, it's an endless flood of validation. A woman can post a picture on Instagram and have dozens, if not hundreds, of men liking and commenting within minutes. The unfortunate reality is that attention is cheap. And because of this, it's often taken for granted. But here's the secret. Not all attention is equal. When your attention becomes scarce, it becomes valuable. Think about it. Anything that's rare and hard to obtain is always more desirable. It's basic human psychology. We value what we can't easily have, and women are no different. When you stop freely giving away your attention, something interesting happens. She starts to seek it out. And when she has to work for it, she values it infinitely more. Let's bring this into real life. Imagine you're constantly texting her, liking all her posts, complimenting her every chance you get. At first, it might feel good, but over time, she begins to expect it. It loses its meaning because it's so easy to get. In fact, too much attention can even turn into a turn-off. You become predictable, and worse, she starts to take your attention for granted. Now, flip the script. What happens when you don't immediately respond to every text? What happens when you don't like every single post or shower her with constant compliments? At first, she might wonder why, but then something more powerful happens. She starts to crave your attention. It becomes a rare commodity, something she has to earn, and that's exactly what makes it valuable. This doesn't mean you should play games or ignore her to manipulate her emotions. That's not what we're talking about. Scarcity is about quality over quantity. It's about being selective with your attention, only giving it when it truly matters. When you do this, every interaction becomes more meaningful. Your compliments carry more weight because they're not given out freely. Your time becomes more valuable because it's not always available. Why does this work so well? Because in a world where women are used to receiving attention without effort, the man who doesn't freely give it away stands out. He's not desperate for validation, and he's not trying to impress her with constant flattery. He knows his worth, and because of that, his attention has value. But here's the critical part. Scarcity is not about withholding affection or playing mind games. It's about making sure your attention is something that's earned, not something that's handed out for free. When you're always available, when you're always there, your presence loses its impact. But when you're selective, when your time, energy, and focus are given only when it truly matters, it creates a powerful sense of value. Let's talk about some practical ways to apply this in your dating life. First, stop being constantly available. This doesn't mean you should ignore her or never initiate conversations, but don't be at her beck and call. If you're always responding within seconds or dropping everything to talk to her, it shows that you don't value your own time. When you take longer to respond or when you're busy with your own life, it signals that you're a man with his own priorities and boundaries. Another tip, be selective with your compliments. Compliment her when it's genuine, not just because you think it'll make her like you more. When you compliment her too often, it loses its impact. But when you save your praise for moments when it really counts, she'll appreciate it more because she knows it's sincere. The same principle applies to your time and attention. If you're constantly liking all her posts or validating her every move, she'll begin to expect it. Instead, take a step back. Be more selective with how and when you engage with her. This creates mystery and anticipation. She'll start to wonder why you're not constantly fawning over her, and that intrigue is what keeps her coming back. Ultimately, the key to creating value through scarcity is to have a life of your own. When you're genuinely busy with your own passions, goals, and interests, you naturally won't be available 24/7. And this isn't about faking it. It's about genuinely being a man who is focused on his own growth and purpose. When a woman sees that your attention is something she has to work for, it becomes far more valuable in her eyes. Now that we've laid the foundation for scarcity, we're ready to dive into something even more powerful: pre-selection. Because the moment other women see your value, it only increases the way she views you. Section 7. Pre-selection. The power of being desired by other women. You've probably heard the phrase, women want what other women have. But it's more than just a saying, it's rooted in psychology. This concept is called pre-selection, and it's one of the most potent, yet often misunderstood dynamics in dating. So, what exactly is pre-selection? It's the phenomenon where a woman's attraction to a man increases when she sees that other women are interested in him. It's the same reason why a man who is already in a relationship often seems to attract more attention from women than when he was single. The logic is simple. If other women want him, he must have value. But let's dig deeper, because the psychology behind this goes much further than you might think. Let's say you walk into a bar with a group of friends, and there's a guy who seems to be at the center of female attention. Maybe he's just chatting with women, not even flirting, but his comfort around them is noticeable. What's going through your mind? Whether you realize it or not, you're likely thinking, there's something about this guy that makes him appealing to women. That's the effect of pre-selection. It makes others wonder, what does he have that I'm missing? For women, this effect is even more powerful. When they see a man who is desired or surrounded by other women, it triggers an instinctive response. Their subconscious starts asking, what makes him so desirable? What qualities does he have that attract these women? Am I missing out? It's not about jealousy, it's about social proof. Here's the reality. Women have to be selective, more so than men, because they often face greater consequences, emotionally and physically, when relationships go wrong. They're wired to choose carefully, and pre-selection acts as an unconscious shortcut. If other women already find a man valuable, it saves her from having to do all the vetting herself. His desirability is already proven. But don't get this twisted. Pre-selection doesn't mean you have to be surrounded by women at all times or be in a relationship to trigger this response. It's about how you interact with women in your life and how comfortable you are in their presence. If you're the guy who easily engages with women, who has female friends, and who genuinely enjoys their company without needing anything in return, that's powerful pre-selection in action. Here's why this works. When women see you confidently interacting with other women, whether it's in a social setting, at work, or even on social media, it signals that you're high value. You're someone who can handle himself around women without being awkward or desperate. And this makes them think, if these women are interested in him, maybe I should be too. But here's where most guys get it wrong. They think pre-selection is about flaunting their status or rubbing their interactions with other women in her face. That's the opposite of what you want to do. Pre-selection is about subtlety. It's about showing, not telling, that women enjoy your company because of who you are, not because you're trying to impress anyone. One of the most powerful forms of pre-selection happens when a woman sees that other women are naturally drawn to you. This could be through small social interactions. Maybe you're at a party, and a group of women gravitates toward your conversation, laughing at your jokes, or simply enjoying your presence. It's the effortless confidence you display when interacting with women that makes other women think he's got something. And here's the kicker. You don't need to be dating multiple women to trigger pre-selection. Simply having strong, platonic relationships with women sends a powerful signal. It shows that you understand women, that they trust you, and that you're not desperate for female attention. That's the kind of confidence that attracts women on a deeper level, because it suggests you don't need to prove yourself. Pre-selection also works on social media. When women see other women commenting on your posts, engaging with your stories, or even just appearing in your pictures, it subtly signals that you're a man of value. Again, this isn't about flaunting or being flashy. It's about showing, in natural ways, that you're a man women are drawn to. Now you might be thinking, does this mean I need to start making female friends or worry about how I'm perceived by other women all the time? Not at all. Pre-selection is something that happens naturally when you're comfortable around women. It's about being confident and authentic in your interactions, whether it's with friends, colleagues, or strangers. When you carry that energy, women will naturally pick up on it. As we transition into the next section, keep this in mind. Pre-selection is one part of a larger puzzle. It shows that you're desirable, but what holds that attraction is your masculine presence, and that's what we're diving into next. Section 8, Masculinity. Why women want emotionally strong men. Let's talk about masculinity. This word often gets misunderstood, misused, and sometimes even demonized in modern society. But here's the truth. Women are biologically wired to be attracted to masculine men, and I'm not just talking about physical strength or dominance. True masculinity goes much deeper. It's about emotional resilience, leadership, and inner strength. We live in a world that often encourages men to be more in touch with their emotions, to be more sensitive. And while emotional intelligence is crucial, we'll get to that later, there's something every man needs to understand. Women crave emotional strength. Imagine this. You're in a relationship and something stressful happens. Maybe a job loss, a family emergency, or some other crisis. In that moment, a woman wants to feel like you can handle it. She wants to feel like, no matter what happens, you're not going to crumble under pressure. It's not that she doesn't want to support you, but women are drawn to men who exude stability, men who can remain calm and centered when the world is spinning out of control. Why is this so attractive? It comes down to biology. Throughout history, women have depended on men for protection and security, not just physically, but emotionally. This doesn't mean women can't take care of themselves, far from it. But on a deep, primal level, women are drawn to men who are strong, both inside and out. They want to feel safe, not just from external threats, but from the emotional ups and downs of life. Let's take a closer look at emotional strength. A lot of guys hear the word masculinity and think it's about being tough, never showing weakness, and shutting off your emotions. But that's not it. Real masculinity isn't about being stoic or distant. It's about being in control of your emotions. It's about not letting anger, fear, or anxiety dictate your actions. When you can face life's challenges without falling apart, you're showing the kind of strength that women find irresistible. Here's a common mistake. Men think that being emotionally strong means never being vulnerable. But that's not true. Vulnerability is part of being masculine, but it's how you handle it that matters. A masculine man can admit when he's going through something tough, but he doesn't let it consume him. He doesn't expect a woman to fix his problems for him. Instead, he acknowledges his emotions, faces them, and then moves forward. Think about the men you respect most in your life. Are they the ones who panic when things go wrong, or the ones who stay calm and composed no matter what? Women are drawn to that same steadiness. When you can remain cool-headed, even in the face of chaos, it shows that you're in control. And that's incredibly attractive. There's also the aspect of physical masculinity. Now, you don't have to be a bodybuilder to embody masculinity, but taking care of your physical health is part of this equation. Women are naturally drawn to men who are strong and capable because it signals that you're able to protect and provide. This doesn't mean you need to spend hours in the gym, but taking care of your body, staying active, and building physical confidence are all part of what makes a man attractive on a biological level. But let's not confuse this with aggression or dominance. True masculinity isn't about being controlling or overbearing, it's about being a leader. A masculine man knows how to take charge of his life, make decisions, and lead with confidence, but without needing to dominate others. It's about having a quiet, unshakable inner strength that women find deeply reassuring. And here's something most men don't realize. Masculinity is calming. When a woman is with a masculine man, she feels safe. She can let her guard down because she knows you can handle whatever comes your way. That safety is what allows a woman to fully open up to trust and to build a deep connection with you. But remember this, masculinity is not about control, and it's not about suppressing who you are. It's about being grounded, about knowing who you are and staying true to that. It's about leading your own life with purpose and direction. And when you do that, women will naturally be drawn to your energy. This brings us to the next critical piece of the puzzle, charismatic leadership. Because masculinity is not just about inner strength, it's about how you lead, both in life and in your relationships. By now, you've gained insights that most men will never understand. The truth is, everything you've been taught about dating, attraction, and relationships is upside down. It's not about superficial tactics or following the same rules everyone else plays by. It's about understanding the deeper psychological triggers that women respond to. Reliability, confidence, ambition, emotional control, mystery, scarcity, pre-selection, masculinity, and leadership. Women aren't looking for perfection. They're looking for a man who understands himself, a man who can navigate the challenges of life with strength and purpose. When you embody these traits, not only do you become irresistibly attractive to women, but you also become a man who commands respect in every area of life: relationships, career, and personal growth. But here's the kicker. Most men will never make these changes. They'll keep chasing women, seeking validation, and playing by rules that keep them stuck in a cycle of frustration. But you're different. By watching this video, you've taken the first step toward becoming the man who flips the script, the man who naturally draws women to him, not by chasing, but by embodying the qualities that truly matter. Now it's time to take action. This isn't just about knowledge. It's about implementation. Are you going to stay in the cycle of doing what hasn't worked, or are you going to embrace this new approach and transform your dating life? If this video resonated with you, if you're ready to stop playing by rules that keep you stuck, and if you're committed to becoming a better, more grounded version of yourself, then I want you to do 3 things right now. Drop a comment below saying, "I'm ready," if you're ready to start embracing these truths and putting them into action. Tell me which point hit home for you the most, and share your story. I want to hear from you. Your journey matters. Hit that like button if you're feeling the value in this content. Every like helps get this message out to more men who need it. Subscribe to Stoic Affinity and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video that dives deep into the real, unfiltered advice that modern men need. Here at Stoic Affinity, we're not about fluff. We're about helping you become the man who lives with purpose, confidence, and strength. And if you're serious about supporting the channel and helping us continue to bring this level of content, consider joining the channel membership. Your support keeps us independent, focused, and able to provide the kind of high-quality, no BS advice that changes lives. Remember, women aren't attracted to men who chase validation. They're attracted to men who know their value. So if you're ready to stop chasing and start becoming the man you were meant to be, join the Stoic Affinity community. This is your moment. Don't let it slip away.